Hi everyone. Hi besties. I'm doing something a bit different, and also first of all, apologies if there's some background noise. I have a fan on because it is sweltering, and if I don't have the fan on, you'll be able to see my soul escaping through my pores with sweat. So we're gonna have to deal with it, okay? Sorry, not sorry. I'm doing something different, okay? I am filming this. I'm recording it on my phone. I'm gonna make a little secret club. This is gonna be like sleepover vibes. We're just gonna talk. And I'm gonna tell you about how things have been and what I'm doing because I'm doing something. I'm setting myself a challenge and I feel really nervous about it. And I want to talk to someone about it, but sometimes I feel like I've got no one to talk to about it. That's not true. I have lots of people to talk to about it, but it's different when you're talking to the abyss, and it could be anyone. So I feel like that brings out different things, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, hi. How are you? It is, I think it's Wednesday the 23rd. Maybe. Is it? Does it matter? I kind of want to know now. When is it? Sorry if you can hear me tapping on my phone. It's the 24th. I was so close. It's 9:26 p.m. and I've been working all day. But I've found someone on YouTube who I've become obsessed with. Not literally obsessed, but like very highly inspired by. Maddie draws back. Maybe I'm late to the party. She's fab. She does YouTube videos just about like being a human and existing, and I came across her because I booked a holiday to Paris in November, and my friend was like you should check out Maddie Draws Back because she went on a holiday by herself and vlogged the whole thing. So I was like, okay, let me see for myself who this is. And then I watched the video and I was like, oh my god, I love her and I want to be her, and like I'm obsessed. And she also talked about this experiment she did where she quit dating for a year. And I kind of want to do it. Let me tell you something. I have my reasons, okay? So please bear with me. And I thought a cute start to this series would be, let me tell you about my dating history and then why I want to quit dating. Because it's a thing. I feel like it's been a journey, and I don't know. I feel like there's an expectation to date and continuously be finding someone. And so when I've told some people about not dating, they've been quite shocked. And I don't know if it's because it's me and I'm like, have always been dating wild, or if it's just because everyone expects you to date in general. And like, if you're not dating, then is something wrong? Did something happen? Which, like, yes, something did happen, but also I'm allowed to not date because nothing happened too, you know what I mean? So, let me start from the beginning. So, I was bored. No, I'm just kidding. I have always been a bit of a hoe. Not like actually. Okay, so the first crush I remember having was when I was like 5. This boy called Tim or Tom or Jack. I don't remember. No, okay, first was Timothy. And this was like when I was 2, maybe. We would go get the bus to nursery together. And I was like in love with him. And we had matching teddy bears that we took to school. And the school buses would have like little TVs in them. And we would listen to this song. I can't remember what song it was. Anyway, so he was my first love. And then I moved schools, or he moved to France or something. And then, no, I think actually I moved to the UK to go to school for like a year. And then I fell in love with Jack. And this was when I was like 5. And I also fell in love with Jack's dad because we would play hide and seek. And, I can't remember if that was like a regular thing or just a one-off thing. But I remember playing hide and seek and just wanting to cuddle his dad. I don't know if I should say that. His dad was very nice, and also Jack was very nice. But yeah, just a bit weird from me, maybe. Sorry for sniffling as well. It's hot, okay. And then I moved back to Thailand. If you don't know about my childhood, it was back and forth from Thailand and England. So next love was, oh my god, what was his name? Kyle. From, I think I was like 7 or 8. And oh my god, this is so exposing. He had a brother that was friends with my brother. And I really fancied Kyle. And I fancied him for years. And we were friends. And I remember he came to my birthday party once. And he bought me a massive cat beanbag chair, I think. And that was really cute. We went ice skating. And then one time I asked if he wanted to kiss me and he said no. And I was like, heartbroken, but okay. That's fine. And then I moved back to the UK when I was like 10. And then I had a boyfriend. I don't know at what point I'm going to stop telling you their names. Maybe now. I had a boyfriend in year 5, so I was about 10 or 11. This was my first ever boyfriend. And I remember getting in the car after school and being like, oh my god, Mum, guess what? I've got a boyfriend. And he was like the cutest in the year. And everyone fancied him. And I was like, it's me. He's chosen me. He broke my heart after 2 weeks. He got his friend to come across the schoolyard to come up to me and be like, you're dumped. And I've never recovered. I mean, I did, but it took me a while. I was really heartbroken by that. And then I had another boyfriend for like 6 months. I think I dated, like, you know when in middle school, you, like, say, will you go out with me? And then you don't look at each other for, like, a week. And then someone says you're dumped. Most of them were like that. And there were about 10. But 2 of them, which was this first boy, I was with for 2 weeks. And we had a kiss and everything. So we were, like, properly dating. And then I had another boyfriend who I dated for, like, 6 months. And we were, like, also properly dating. We'd sit next to each other in maths and play footsie. But then one time he played footsie with another girl and I was like, what are you doing? I actually didn't say that. I just like silently internalized it and thought my life was over. And then I broke up with him because I fancied someone else who turned out to be Sting's nephew. So that's my claim to fame. And but then like, I remember this very vividly. I was sitting in French. This was while I was dating Sting's nephew. And I would look at him because I thought that's what you're supposed to do when you're dating someone. Like, look at them and, like, smile at them. And then he would just be like, what? What are you looking at? So I dumped him because I was like, that's kind of mean. And then apparently he fancied me still. And I really, liked that. But then he turned out to be an absolute knob with all his friends. So there was that. And then I had like boyfriends from different schools. I had a boyfriend who was like a year older than me. And then from another school, and everyone was like, oh my God, you're dating an older guy. I was like, I know, he's like 13 and I'm 12. So mature. And then I had my first proper boyfriend who was 16 when I was 14. And we were together for about 11 months, maybe. Yeah, I think so. I think we broke up just before it was our anniversary. And that was like serious. And I don't know how much to say about that actually. But that was like first proper boyfriend, serious. But you can like read between the lines, okay? Memorable. And then we broke up, and then I came out as bi and had a girlfriend for maybe like 6 months. And then we broke up because her mum turned out to be really weird. This was like when I was young, 14-ish. I feel like I've gotten my ages mixed up. This was before my first boyfriend, actually. Okay, so I dated this girl when I was like 13, maybe 12. And we were like in love. And her mum, I've told this story before, but her mum was like, if you're going to be homosexuals, I'm going to film everything you do. I know that you sneak off to the toilets and have a little smooch. So if you don't break up, I'm going to send my daughter to America and then, like, ruin your life, basically. But I'm not homophobic because one of my friends is gay. So I left school and that was a drama. And I was heartbroken, like, genuinely. I was already very espresso depresso, but that like took me to another level for maybe like, I don't know, a long time. And then during my homeschooling, because I refused to go to school, that was when I started talking to this guy in the UK. So it was long distance, where I was 14 and he was 16. I feel like a bit weird, if I'm gonna be honest. Like, why, if you're 16, why do you want to be turned to a 14-year-old? Don't know. Anyways, I liked them older. So that was like, I guess like my relationship with the girl was like my first, like really deep, I don't know if it was love or like a very strong crush. And then this guy, it felt like a first on another level because we did all the things. Anyways, we broke up because I think I fancied his friend and I felt guilty, so I was like, let's break up because I feel bad. And then in that year, I think I like told multiple other boys in my school that I fancied them, and I don't know if anything ever happened aside from like truth or dare making out sessions. And then I got back together with this guy when I was 16 and he was 18. And we were together again for like a long time. Maybe, actually I think it was about 6 months because we broke up. We got together in the summer, broke up in the Christmas. A bit awkward because he came to Thailand to visit me and my family for Christmas, and I broke up with him while he was out there. But I had a valid reason, okay? I came out as trans and I wanted to be alone. And then it was like a friendly breakup. It wasn't drama. And then when I came out as trans, I moved school. And then I became like besties with this girl, Gigi, and we're still in touch. And everyone thought we were dating, so we were like, should we just date and see what happens? And like, I was under the impression that I was a homosexual, so it didn't really make sense for me. But we did it anyway. And then 2 days later, I moved to the UK unexpectedly. So that didn't last. We're still friends. We still talk on Facebook sometimes. And I see her if I go back out again. And then I came back to the UK. And then I had a year of not being in school because I moved mid-year and it was just a bit awkward and I couldn't like get into any school because I was trying to get into A-levels and you had to like apply. Anyways, I ended up in a long distance relationship with a girl. Plot twist, because I thought I was gay. Anyways, that was drama because she really hated the fact that I thought I was gay. So we dated for about 11 months again. And she lived in Norway, so I went to visit her multiple times. I don't know how I did this. And then we broke up because I thought I was gay. Like, what a surprise. And then after that, I went to college. This sounds like, why didn't I learn my lesson? I got a girlfriend who was like, I think she was trans femme identifying at the time and is gender fluid now, but I haven't spoken to her in years, so don't know what happened there. And it wasn't really a relationship. We were like friends with benefits, and then I think we argued too much before it became anything. Anyway, then I was like, no, I'm gay. So, I didn't really do much with that information for a while, but I think I was about 19, 20-ish when I came to that conclusion. And then 21, I moved out. And then I became a bit of a hoe. I think I was just like, had this newfound sense of independence. I was like out as a gay man, so I was like, you know what's perfect for me? Someone who feels vulnerable and lonely, living in a flat grinder. So I went on there and I had some fun and I met some very odd people. I think I've spoken about like the most awkward dates I've been on. I met one cute person, but they weren't great with replying, so, or like, I think they like ghosted me for a while, and then I was like, no thanks. But apart from him, most other people were a bit not great. Like the guy who just came over and ate crisps in my bed, fell asleep and then left. Like, hun, are you alright? And then the guy that got arrested for being a paedophile. And the other guy that was being transphobic after we had slept together. So not a great selection. Not my finest pick, I must say. Then I got with this guy. Awful person. And we were like on and off dating. I hate even saying that. For like a couple months, maybe. First of all, I dated this guy. It was like friends with benefits thing. That lasted 5 months, and nobody caught feelings or wanted it to go any further. But that might have been to do with the fact that he was like maybe 20 years older than me. And then got a bit like chasery at the end. And he was like, I think I could be bisexual because I've been with you. And I was like, because he thought he was gay before. So, I mean, like, maybe I'd understand if he thought he was straight. And then was like, maybe I could be bisexual if I'm with a trans guy or a guy. But, like, being gay and then being like, maybe I can be bi because I'm with a trans guy. It's not the vibe. So, that ended because he had to travel for work, and that was fine. But then this horrible guy, let's call him. Oh, I don't know what to call him. The horrible guy. We'll just call him Mr. Nasty. I dated him on and off for like 5 months, I want to say. But he was like the nastiest of nasties you can imagine. Like, I won't go too much into it, but traumatizing. And I had my bottom surgery, stage 1, in March. I think it was like March 1st or something, 2017. And he was like the nastiest he'd ever been 2 weeks after. Not even that, like less than 2 weeks, because I still had stitches in, and that takes 2 weeks. So he was the nastiest of nasties. Like a week or so after. And so after that I was like, no thank you, stay away from me, goodbye, forever. And then like April, May, I started talking to my ex, who I was together with for 5-6 years. And in the beginning of the relationship, I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for this, because I've just come out of something very traumatic. But I went through with it anyway. And it was like a nice relationship. Like, understatement, it was very nice. And we had a nice life. But yeah, I feel like there was some stuff that I needed to unlearn from before meeting him. Anyways, when we broke up, I feel like I was quite desperate to date again, and so I did quite quickly, and I was on the apps again. I think I was on Grindr and Tinder, and I don't know what else I was on, but I think I was on Bumble for friends. Maybe like Growler and some of the other sexy ones. Not sexy as in cute, but sexy as in you meet for sex. So, I went through a phase of I kind of like hyperfixated on meeting people, and was like, let me meet as many people as possible and see what happens. And then I got into this situation, like a bit of a, I don't know how much I want to say. I feel like I shouldn't, like, tell you all the details about my life, but also, like, it's just part of life, so I'm constantly torn between the two. I got into this situation with this guy. It was like a, not role play, but arrangement sort of thing between us. A different dynamic than, like a kink dynamic, I guess, for like a couple weeks, and then I moved. And I realised that part of that was a bit iffy. Not sure how I felt about it, but like when I was removed from it and had time to think. But then I moved down to Brighton, and again I was like on it, and I kept a diary of everyone that I met. I think I like lost track towards the end, and I would like write the name of the person if I was going to see them again. And I had a bout, is that a word? I had a bout, like bout, spout, spurt, I don't know. I had a cluster of very disappointing meetings. So one guy I met in London, I waited the whole day for him because I went to London for brunch with some friends, and then he was like, will you wait till 5 p.m. for me? And I was like, go on then. So I had therapy in a like coffee shop and texted so I could meet this person. And anyway, he was full of promises and didn't deliver, and it was very awkward, and he was like, I'm gonna need some help. I don't really know what to do here because you look different to all the other trans men I've been with. And I was like, oh, that's such a nice thing for you to say. Anyway, I didn't see him again. But then I was like, I feel like I should fix this with another hookup. So I went to see someone else, and he was also really disappointed. Not disappointed, disappointing, if not worse, because he was also full of promises, and then kind of like kicked me out of his flat, like finished himself off, did what he needed to do, and then was like, I'm done, and then like gave me my clothes, and I was like, okay, after like 10 minutes, which like, fine. That's all I'll say about that. Yeah, so, and there was someone else that I won't get into because that was like a bit different, I think. I've got a really itchy nose, so I'm sorry that I'm like itching. Apparently that's a good sign. Anyway, so there was a couple of like grossy-wossy men. When, I feel like that must have been towards, oh my god, no. Wait. Oh, okay, I went to Amsterdam in October and met someone there who was really cute. We're still in touch, and we're very like friend vibes. Super lovely person. And then I came back, and that's when I had like multiple rubbish encounters. Or was it before then? I don't know. It was around the same time. And then I don't... Oh, and then I had like some... I actually can't remember what happened between November and... I think I got into some sort of like... I think I was opening up to the idea of dating properly and not just having casual like hookups with people. Because I knew that after my breakup, I definitely didn't want a relationship. But now I'm like, maybe, what if? So I started dating this cute trans guy, and we dated for like a month or two maybe. Saw each other fairly often. And that was super wholesome, super cute vibes. And around the same time, I started dating this other person who was... I thought wholesome and cute, but now I look back, it was quite not wholesome and cute, and very much like a bit sneaky, a bit cheeky in a bad way, like maybe sneaky is a better word to put it. And then yeah, so I was exploring polyamory, they were all exploring polyamory, and it was a nice time until the last time I met. So, okay, let's give people nicknames. The trans guy can be called T, and then the other person was, this non-binary person, we'll call them B, okay? So T was going really well. And then B, the last time we met, was like awful. Yeah, like very traumatizing. Let's just say that. So, they stayed the night, B stayed the night, and I woke up the next day and was like, what the fuck has happened? And then around that time I also found out my grandma died. And then I hit like this massive burnout where I don't know if I spoke about it on here, but I've spoken about it like with some friends. Sorry, the recording on my camera turned off, so I had to press the little thing again. Okay, so loads of drama was happening, and then I hit burnout, which was really intense. Like, I've heard people talk about burnout before, but I didn't realize it could be that bad, where, like, I couldn't see or move from my bed. Like, I didn't even have the energy to, like, lift my phone. It was pretty horrendous. And I think it was a mix of the trauma from B and the trauma from my grandma dying. So, I think I, like, unintentionally stopped dating, but I was very much, like, put off, like, the thought of meeting another person in public made me feel physically sick. So I didn't trust anyone. I didn't want to meet anyone. I just didn't really want anything to do with anyone. So I was like, no dating for me. So I deleted all my apps after about 2 weeks. This was like mid-Feb. I deleted all my apps, and I deleted just, like, I don't know. I told T that I didn't have the energy to meet and talk right now because I'm going through some stuff, and he was really understanding. And then I recovered a bit from the burnout after a few weeks, but I still was like, didn't want to meet anyone. And this was like the first time in my life where I had not felt the need to, like, urgently date people or seek out hookups. So this was a bit weird, and I was like, okay, this is, like, not just weird, but this is, like, not normal for me. But I liked it because I felt like I had some autonomy and some, like, control over how I was treated and who I surrounded myself by. So I went with it, and March passed, and then April passed, and then we're in May, and it's been like almost 3 months, and I've not missed it really. I've had a little bit of like it would be nice if I had someone to cuddle, but it was very much like I still don't feel safe being vulnerable with people, so I've not seeked out anything. And this has probably been the longest amount of time I've not done that since I've moved out at like 21. Or maybe even longer than that. I feel like I've constantly been looking for someone to date. And I watched this video of Marie Drawsby. Don't know how to pronounce it still, even though I listened to her say it in a podcast. And like, she said that she quit dating for a year, and I was like, I could do that maybe. And I know that it would be really difficult for me, because I know that the reason that I've not been looking recently is because I've been really scared to, and like very overprotective of myself. And when I feel like I've healed a bit more from what's happened, maybe I'll feel more desperate for that, like I used to. But I feel like it's different, because I've been through sexual trauma in the past, and I feel like, if anything, that's made me almost like hypersexual and like desperate to meet people to like fix that, or like so my last memory wasn't awful. So this time, the fact that I've been like, absolutely nobody's coming into my flat, nobody is gonna be given the opportunity to treat me like that. And I know that it's not always how it works, and you can't control the circumstances in which these things happen. But I feel like I have just shut down any opportunity for anyone to come to me like that. And I kind of feel like I'm maybe leaning into like victim blaming myself a bit by being like, well, if I just don't do these things, then it won't happen. And like realistically, it can happen anywhere. I get that. But I feel like with that, I have also stopped doing things that maybe I didn't want to do before, but I just did because I was bored, or I was sad, or I was lonely, and extra vulnerable, so that like people could take advantage more, maybe. I don't know. So I found it a bit weird that I have gone the opposite way with this and been so against dating and being intimate with people. But I'm leaning into it, and I feel like I really like the idea of intentionally not dating for a year and going from my 28th birthday to my 29th. Because I don't know, it would be fun. No, I feel like I have never given myself the opportunity to figure out who I am and what I like and who I am without it being with someone else. And I feel like whenever I am with other people, I will change myself to be who they want me to be. And I will constantly think about whether or not they like me enough when I might not even like them that much. And I will beat myself up so much about how good I am in their eyes. And I don't even think about how I feel about myself in my eyes and who I want to be for myself. I just think, am I worthy of this person's love and attention? Because that's all that matters. Like, what the heck? I don't want to be like that. I don't want to live my life as this empty shell that just becomes someone for someone else. Like, what the heck? I feel like I deserve a lot more than just being a mold for other people. It makes me feel quite sad that I feel that way about myself, because I'm like, why don't I deserve to like myself the way that I am and give myself the time and the energy to be someone that I really like and someone that I really love. So I'm like, maybe it's time for me to date myself. I feel like that's really cheesy, but I kind of love it as well. Like a whole year where I'm absolutely not, nobody gets the chance, the opportunity to come between me and myself. And I don't know, I just feel like I've got a lot of unlearning to do, a lot of trauma to recover from, and just I don't know, a lot to uncover in a really exciting way. So yeah, I've spoken to some people about it, and someone was like, what about doing, well, by some people, I've spoken to one friend that I text all the time, my therapist, and my mum today, and that was oh, by the way, spur of the moment thing, And my friend was like, do you need to do a year or could you do shorter? And I was like, I mean, I could do shorter, but I love a challenge, and I feel like I might, if, like, I've gone 3 months so far without dating, and that's been because of fear. And if I go 6 months, then I feel like I'm still quite scared, and I feel like maybe that would also be because of fear, and I don't want to go into relationships again just because I'm not scared and I'm not ready, but I'll go into them anyway. So I feel like a year is a good amount of time to be like, not like recover from things, because I feel like you don't really ever recover from them, or like, I don't know, I feel like that's going to be lifelong, but it will give me a significant amount of time to like learn how to cope with it and not be so afraid, and deal with my feelings of wanting someone, and also learn how to fulfill my loneliness or my need or desire for attention by giving it to myself. And I feel like a year is a good amount of time to practice those things and really set them in stone, and like figure out what my goals are, who I want to be with in the future. And I don't know, it just feels a bit better. My mum was just like, oh, okay. And then my therapist was talking about what I would do if I broke the challenge. I say that with like question parenthesis quote, I don't know. Just like whatever I consider breaking the challenge. And if it doesn't go to plan. And I wrote down, I've made a Notion page, guys. I've done it. I've organized my life to this point where I've made a Notion page called Dating Myself. And I kind of love it. It's got little hearts on it. So I've got like my rules, my goals, and what happens if I break a rule. Okay, so do you want to hear the rules? I'll try and remember them because I don't want to get my laptop. So my rule is no dating apps, no sexting, no like chat rooms online, and no hookups, and no like entertaining the idea of being with someone. Yeah, basically. So I'm a very black or white thinker, and I'm really trying to change that. And I'm thinking like, if I break one of those rules, instead of like being like, well, the year's over, because I could break it tomorrow in a moment of like loneliness, I want to see that as like an experiment and be like, well, first of all, I said, if I want to do something, I need to write down why it is I want to do it and what I'm going to get out of it. If I go ahead with it, then I need to write down how it felt and what I got from it, and if it was worth it. And then I continue the challenge. And it's not a big deal. I'm saying that I feel like that's way easier said than done, because I might be like, well, it's over now. But I'm going to try really hard. And I think I've gone into this process gradually, because I have downloaded dating apps since my birthday. But it didn't do anything for me. And I have like had some conversations with people, both like intimate, like emotional, and then both like fleeting, not very intimate, not very emotional conversations with people, if you get what I mean. But it didn't like make me feel great, so I'm happy to like stop that. Like, it's not the vibe. So that's what happens if I break the rules. I'm not punishing myself. This isn't about like setting a challenge that is impossible and then punishing myself if I don't do it. This is like a gift to myself to help me figure out what I want and also learn to be nicer to myself and have more confidence and be able to have boundaries, because I really struggle with boundaries and saying no to people. So yeah, that's my goal. So I also wrote some goals, some like unmeasurable goals, like being able to say no to people and having a clear idea on who I want as a partner or partners, who I want to be as a partner, who I want to be alone, all that kind of stuff. And then I've got some measurable goals that are like, take myself on a date, take myself on this specific date, or say no to something that is a big deal, and things like that. So I haven't like fully fleshed out those measurable goals, but I think talking to you, maybe I could set a challenge to so it's May right now. I'll set a challenge for June and then come back at the end of June and tell you about how those challenges went. So I'm thinking, this has been a really long episode. It's almost been an hour. I'm sorry or you're welcome, depending. Okay, so my goals for June are to go on a cute date with myself, and not just like any kind of date, but like a date that you would go on with someone to impress them. So I'm thinking either, oh my god, I'm going to see Elliot Page book signing, so I think I'll do that and like take myself out to a fancy restaurant, or like I was thinking about going to an acrobat show and dinner with that. You know, like a proper evening where it's like, if you were with someone, you'd be like, this is a date. So go on like a proper date, and then also flesh out the measurable goals, and then I can tell you about my measurable goals next time. So yeah, I hope that was a fun episode. I always feel like Lizzie McGuire when she goes, well, that's my life. I don't even know if she says that, but I just have an image of her in her movie being like, that's my life. Yeah. So I hope you're doing well. I hope you're being kind to yourself. And I appreciate you listening to this. If you've got any insights or ideas or thoughts or anything, let me know. And I will speak to you next month. Okay. Bye. Love you.